Most European politicians and economists agree that together with further integration of the Eurozone, this labor market flexibility will be encourage European workers to change their place of living, and these Eurozone arrangements will be increasing the number of Europeans on the move. So if 10 years ago the issue of migration within the European Union was mainly related to Central and Eastern European migrants, today we can say that in these migration processes are involved most, if not all, European Union countries. And this situation has introduced new kind of thinking about borders within the European Union. Borderlands in Europe and in the European Union used to be thought as traditional political borders which divided Europe among different nationalities and different sovereign states. And to these days we have marked on maps and on roads and airports places where one country starts and another begins. But along with deepening of the European integration process, along with introducing Schengen area, this kind of borders become less and less significant. What we can observe instead is an emergence of new borderlands in the European Union. When I say about new borderlands, what I mean is the fact that these new places where different nations, different cultures, different languages, different customs, norms and values meet are not longer traditional political borders, but places which are located in the biggest urban centers in the European Union, like London, Paris, Madrid, Amsterdam. There are also small villages in the Netherlands, in Denmark, or in Sweden or Germany, where migrants from other European countries come, settle, and work. So, together with the progress of the European integration, we face a process of deterritorialization of borders and borderlands in the European Union. That's why this is quite important to realize that these migration processes within the European Union can bring benefits but also problems, can be beneficial for many countries but also can cause troubles, local frictions, and may also cause short-term problems and also problems in the long run. We have to remember that very often these problems can be perceived in a different way on the local level and also on the national level, and also in a completely different way at the European level. When the European politicians from the European institutions say that higher mobility within the European Union is good for European economy, we need to remember that it is not often as beneficial for nations and states involved, and very often it is also quite counterproductive at the local level. So we can very often notice that while acknowledging the fact that at the macrostructural level many host societies, host countries can receive quite important economic gains, at the same time at the local level, in local communities, small villages or districts of big European cities, there might appear very serious local problems, frictions and conflicts between migrants and host communities. On the other hand, if we look at sending countries, one cannot disagree with a very, very important fact that the last 10 years of emigration have brought many important benefits. If we look at Poland, for example, we easily identify such important benefits like lower unemployment, financial remittances sent by migrants, which in many important ways improved economic situation of thousands of, hundreds of thousands of Polish families. We can also talk about a process of Europeanization, because it is not only about financial gains, financial remittances, but also about social and cultural remittances. What I mean by social and cultural remittances is the fact that Polish migrants going to other European countries can learn, acquire new norms, new values, new attitudes. They learn about life in very heterogeneous societies. They learn new modes of civic organization. They acquire knowledge about civic attitudes, and many European Polish migrants involved in this European migration brings these skills, these attitudes, these norms back to Poland and try to introduce or transfer them to their sending local communities. So most politicians, most economists, most academics agree that this new high mobility between European countries can be very beneficial for migrants involved in this migration, also for nations and states which host these migrants, but also for these countries who send these migrants. But as I said, we cannot avoid many difficult situations. I will give you one example. There is a middle-sized town, Peterborough, in Britain. The population of Peterborough is around 1,000 people. In 2001, there was only 3 children in the whole city with Central and Eastern European roots, background. 5 years later, after 2004, after this Big Bang enlargement and after opening the labor market by Brits for Central and Eastern European countries, the number of birth rates in local Peterborough hospital was 200. So we can easily notice that this kind of migration may often put quite a significant stress and squeeze on local public services. So nobody, I suppose, should blame local communities that they become afraid of the big number of immigrants who are coming to their local societies. This is a real problem, because having big increase in birth rate in one city, then the next steps like lack of places in nurseries, lack of places in kindergartens, lack of places in schools. So we shouldn't blame these local communities that they become afraid of diminishing quality of their public services. They are just afraid that because of the inflow of immigrants, their level of life, their quality of life is decreasing. Certainly, many economists say that the higher number of migrants produce bigger taxes and by this token increase the prosperity of the economy, but we cannot forget that taxes are usually collected at the national level, and problems with the presence of migrants are encountered at the very, very local level.